I don't know what it is, but I think there's certainly something. If you look at the most men who are miserable and unhappy today, I think that there's a few things that are lacking. You'll ask them what it is. They might say women, they might say money. But in my experience, mainly it's brotherhood. I think most men who are truly miserable don't have brothers, because if you have good guys around you and you're truly a team and you know you can truly rely on them and they can truly rely on you, you don't really care about much else. So when someone says, oh, I'm not motivated to become strong, or I don't really care about money, we are also saying by extension, I don't want strong friends around me. I don't want rich friends around me. Because you're going to be a bad friend. And then you have to sit and look and understand that lone wolves don't survive. The idea of Rambo in and of itself is a fallacy. It's always going to be packs and teams that are going to survive. If I lost everything today, it would be the men I know that helped me get it all back. It wouldn't be the women I can sleep with. It wouldn't be, you know, all the cars I already have or all the status I already have, whatever. It would be the men I know when shit hits the fan that I'd be calling to try and get everything back. And that's how important it is. It's your parachute and it's your safety net. And it's also the thing that's going to keep you on top regardless of what happens to you. So if you're sitting here saying, I don't want to be a fantastic man, then you don't want a fantastic network and you're in big trouble.
I've always been rich, but I'm not just rich because of money. You have to understand, I'm rich because of a bunch of things that money cannot buy. Like, I know there's people with lots of money, but they don't have the network I have. They don't have the brotherhood I have. Just sitting with my boys knowing that if the bullets start flying, me and my 10 friends, we all die or no one dies. Having that brotherhood, having women who would literally, you could go to jail for 10 years and they would wait for you. They exist for you and only you, completely and utterly. You are their entire universe. Having, and all the bad things, having the trauma, all the pain, all the bullshit I've been through. You ain't a good man if you haven't had trauma. I tell people that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Everyone agrees. They go, yeah, that's probably true. The 5 people you spend the most time with, that's what you're going to end up like. They say, yeah, that's true. And then they continue to hang around with people who they don't want to be. Why? There has to be a point. There has to be a point where you sit and go, okay, you're my friends, etc., etc. I love you guys. Yeah, we can talk, whatever. But I'm on a different life path. You have to leave some people behind. If you were to come hang around with me and my crew, you would be self-conscious. And that self-consciousness would motivate you, or they would certainly instill the discipline required for you to change. You don't feel self-conscious amongst your peers. That's why you don't change. If you were to get in a room and you're the only person who ain't a monster, you'd want to become a monster. That's life. That's humanity. So I say this to people all the time. If you know you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around with, why you hang around with people you don't want to be? And that's why I live in a competitive environment. I live with my brother, my cousin. I live with men. We have a big house. We could all afford 10 houses each. We live together on purpose. If my brother does 500 push-ups, I ain't going to be at the house. I ain't going to not do them. That's because that's how life was. If we were still in the animal kingdom, the lions that you see on TV, they weren't just born big lions. They had to fight other lions. They had to fight to get that antelope. They had to fight other animals, hyenas, jackals. They had to fight to be the boss.
You meet lots of men in your lifetime, and the number one go-to to look for, I think, in identifying good people, because I've been to the bottom of the bottom and back to the top. And I think the number one go-to that I look for, it's why I still have some friends for a very long time. When I was down and out, when I was broke, when I had nothing to eat, they messaged me, hey man, you want to meet for a drink? They cared about hanging out with me, regardless of everything else that I do. It's crazy how in the past 5 years, every single man I've ever met in my entire life or hung out with for 1 day or 1 week, they're all like, oh man, I'd love to catch up with you. Oh, I bet you would. What, at my mansion, on my boat, in the jet, over here. I bet you'd love to catch up with me. But why didn't you want to catch up with me when I was down and out? So, you know who your real friends are, because when you're down, you know who's looking out for you and who's messaging you. I said this to you, actually, in prison. I said, the one thing I miss, I went 92 days, no women, no booze, no fun, no nothing. And when I finally got put in a room with Andrew, I was like, yeah, I missed you, man, but you know what? I miss my friends.
If you want to find friends which are hardworking and dedicated and motivated, and you want to respect them, and you want them to respect you back, go into a fight gym and learn how to fight for real. And you will have a bunch of friends who aren't afraid, who aren't cowards, who respect you, who you respect back. You'll have some of my best friends. In fact, a lot of the guys who've been visiting me this last week, anyone who's following me on Twitter, I've been sparring with, are guys I used to train with 10, 11, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're still coming to see me. So yeah, that's a fantastic way, because I think if we actually psychoanalyze that, that's interesting. When men go through shared experiences, I think that's how we bond, especially if it's shared hardship. It doesn't matter if it's a football team, winning a game, losing a game, going to war, your army buddies, going to fight, your fight buddies. We have to have some kind of shared hardship to bond with. And I think that's very important. So if you're the kind of guy who avoids hardship or avoids challenges or tasks, you're going to struggle to find any kind of friends worth having in the first.
You have to raise expectations for yourself, because if you can't bring some sort of honor to the friendship, then how are you going to expect that out of the next guy? So if we're all walking down the street and one of us is weak, then we didn't bring that to the relationship in the first place. That's why I always say ethics come before you need them. To get these kinds of friends, you have to first be that kind of person that deserves that kind of, attention and love and care from another person.
And if your team's gonna be a bunch of weaklings like you that lack motivation, you say I lack motivation, you're also advertising to the world that every single one of the people you're friends with are going to lack motivation. So then what? What chance do you have, you and your dork friends with no motivation, against a bunch of motivated men?
Yeah, because I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible to have a bunch of friends who are motivated and focused and not be motivated and focused yourself.